Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so I hope everyone has been practicing the Nevermind game, doing a lot of Nevermind, let it go, relax, smile, and getting back to your task or your object of meditation as much as possible every day. And I hope you've benefited very much already. Okay, so last week we read the first half of chapter 9, the Buddha's views on this teaching. And so we read from this part here, which is taken from the Adanta Vaga, okay, from the Anguttara Nikaya, Book of One's fourth part. So I'll just reread this again, just to rejig our memory from last week, and then we will continue from note 3 onwards. So we covered note 1 and note 2 last week already. So for those of you who are interested, might have missed it, it has been uploaded to the Samatha Vipassana YouTube channel. Okay, so what does the sutta read? The sutta reads, so this is Buddha Gautama, who declared this. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the untamed mind. Indeed, an untamed mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as the tamed mind. Indeed, a tamed mind conduces to great benefit. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the unguarded mind. Indeed, an unguarded mind conduces great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as the guarded mind. Indeed, a guarded mind conduces to great benefit. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the unprotected mind. Indeed, an unprotected mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as a protected mind. Indeed, a protected mind conduces to great benefit. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the uncontrolled mind. Indeed, an uncontrolled mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as the controlled mind. Indeed, a controlled mind conduces to great benefit. And then he again repeats all the different points and summarizes them into the last paragraph. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the untamed, unguarded, unprotected, uncontrolled mind. Indeed, an untamed, unguarded, unprotected, uncontrolled mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as the tamed, guarded, protected, and controlled mind. Indeed, a tamed, guarded, protected, and controlled mind conduces to great benefit. Okay, so we covered note 1 and note 2 last week. So let's move on to note 3. And we also covered the 5 precepts and the distractions last week. Sorry, there's a little bit of background noise. So let me just see if I can just run through. My apologies, Mukul. I have to mute you because there's some background noise, just for the benefit of others. So I hope you don't mind. Okay, so note 3. Note 3 is on unprotected or protected mind. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the unprotected mind. Indeed, an unprotected mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as a protected mind. Indeed, a protected mind conduces to great benefit. Okay, the picture of someone who's doing a house chore happily. An unprotected mind can easily get lost in arising emotions such as grief, frustration, anger, anxiety, or depression. So these are all negative emotions. Okay. It can feel like the entire world is a heavy burden and you have been singled out to carry it upon your shoulders. And I'm sure probably all of us have felt that at some point, at least once in our lives. Okay, so we kind of feel like as though we're carrying the burden of the entire world on us. So you can feel this way because you have not been told how things actually work. The fact is, nothing is happening to us. Everything is happening from us. It is all a matter of our perspective, which we do have the power to change. We decide every day how we are going to look at this world. We create our own experience. Therefore, we do have power over our destiny to some extent. Practicing this game is the key to protecting the mind. If we don't whisper, never mind, and we don't keep right effort going, so right effort here is the 6 R's, or even never mind, let it go, relax, smile, come back. We will revert to reacting the way we always did in the past. Instead of responding, we will fall back into our old habits, leaving our mind unprotected. Once again, reactions will happen more often than responses. If your practice of the Nevermind game falters, don't be hard on yourself. It simply means you are human. It means that you were never taught the full knowledge of how things actually work. If you feel like you're crazy not to know about this, well, hey, all of us are crazy in the beginning before we hear about this and test it. A misstep is not a disaster. It's an opportunity to uncover something new that you didn't know about before. There's really no such thing as a failure. If you make a mistake, this just means you succeeded halfway. This is just a signal to try it again. So when I'm reading this paragraph, I'm reminded of, so I'm also reading a book called The Right Kind of Wrong by Professor Amy Edmondson of Harvard University. And she's a professor in organizational behavior and psychology. So she's a strong proponent of what's called psychological safety. And there's a term that she didn't coin the term. Someone called Max Motsby, I think, if I got the name right, coined the term that we are all FHBs. So what that stands for is we are all fallible human beings. We are bound to make failures. And the key thing is to understand, not to, think of failures as disasters, but rather the opportunity to learn how not to do something in that way. So it's great to be able to make mistakes and then learn from those mistakes. So here again, Venerable Khema summarized it very nicely. If you make a mistake, this just means you succeeded halfway. Yes, in a sense, because you just realize how not to do something. All right, so this is just a signal to try it again. I remember what my dad used to say when I was learning to ice skate. If you're ever knocked down, just get up, rebalance yourself, and keep going. He was really funny about this. I was only 4 or 5 years old at the time. He would stuff my pants with pillows and then send me out on ice. I remember hearing him say, remember, when you do fall down, keep on smiling. So mistake is just another example of how things are changing all the time. Mistakes, challenges to do it better next time. Just keep going and smile through it all. Your sense of humor is your measuring stick about how much progress you are making. Keep on smiling. You develop wisdom by practicing this way. The longer you keep your practice going, the faster your mind will lean towards wholesome thoughts. So this is important to keep in mind. So I like to repeat this sentence again. Try to keep this in mind when we practice. So the longer we keep our practice going, the faster our mind will lean towards wholesome thoughts. Because what we're doing really when we're playing the Nevermind game, when we're going, never mind, let it go, relax, smile, come back, we're coming back to whatever is our task at hand, or it could be the, if we're practicing loving kindness. So that is a wholesome thought. And because of how, the brain works in terms of neuroplasticity, if we keep doing that, and the key thing is to always practice it in exactly the same way, the steps, I mean. So we can't interchange or swap them around. We have to practice these steps in exactly the same way each time. And the more we keep doing it and keep going at it, then at some point, the mind will say, hey, I know what to do, right? So it becomes programmed in that sense to do that. So naturally, one day, without you needing to have that intention, it will happen automatically. Gradually, all disturbances will be left behind. Without mind's personal attention on them, the distractions will grow weaker. Without feeding them personal attention, they will have no strength to return again and again. They will fade away, allowing mind to become very clear. This is the process of eliminating distractions through abandonment and replacement. This is how we purify and retrain mind. Which is the second. So this is exactly what the term in Pali Bhavana means, the practice, really. How do we purify and retrain our mind? And this is precisely how we do it. So to develop your practice, you must make a commitment to keep the steps of the Nevermind game or right effort going whenever they are needed, just as they are described, until your mind changes and begins to understand that it is really all right to let go, relax, smile, and come back to your task. Okay, so in the beginning, we probably find it very unnatural, or like we have to put consent. We have to put an intention. We have to kind of, in a way, drive ourselves toward practicing this Nevermind game or right effort in the beginning, because it's not natural, it's not automatic. And we need to just keep going until at some point the mind is like, whenever a distraction occurs or whenever a negative emotion occurs, or we encounter some, someone said something that we don't like. So instead of reacting how we normally would react, automatically, if we have practiced long enough and kept it going enough, then automatically one day the mind will just immediately at that point go, never mind, let it go, relax, now come back. And at that point, you are beginning to experience a healthier pattern of behavior, and you realize that you truly are abandoning your older harmful patterns. This is how you recognize progress. So progress here really is about behavioral change. So in some of our previous Sunday sessions, we had some speakers come in. Rajiv Dinesh, one of them, and he gave a couple of sessions, and he mentioned this really is about behavioral change. Bhante Dharmakavesi also mentioned that a couple of times already, and a number of our other speakers like Hugh and Dr. Madhusudanji also mentioned the same thing. Really what we're doing here is behavioral change. We are, in a way, reprogramming ourselves or our minds so as not to react to everything that we perceive through our sixth sense space in the same way, in the habitual same way. We are trying to use this technique that the Buddha Gautama had given to us, had left for us, so that we can no longer react, but then respond in a wholesome way. Okay, so mind moves into automatic mode. What does that mean? So once you begin practicing this cycle, mindfulness helps you remember to keep it going by repeating the cycle every time you need it. Pretty soon, you don't have to think about doing the steps anymore. One day in a situation where fear or anger would normally engulf mind, suddenly you might discover yourself responding differently. For some reason, you don't get upset, and you can't imagine why. It just naturally happens because internally you've been pondering a different possibility. You've been leaning in a helpful direction, and mind suddenly got it and changed its response. So Q asks, how can that happen? How can that happen? So Venerable Khema replies, a long time ago, the Buddha gave his monks some advice. Whatever you think and ponder upon, that will become the inclination of your mind. What's happening is you have been doing the practice correctly for so long that something clicked inside for you. And the same steps happened on their own. This means that your mind is taking over because you have now created an automatic, wholesome response system that will happen in your life with a smile whenever certain conditions arrive. Okay, so here the key word is automatic, wholesome response system. That's what we're doing. We're trying to build this automatic, wholesome response system in-house, in our system, okay? In our system as a human being, okay? So that, you know, whenever certain conditions arise, we will be able to respond with a smile. So it's good to keep smiling because each smile supports the cycle to become your normal management system for life. At the point that this begins happening, right effort has transformed itself into right striving. So it becomes automatic. The Nevermind game has the power to change the direction of your life. Just keep on playing the game, and the automatic level will one day click in. You'll quietly laugh when something unpleasant begins to come up, and the mind reacts with a smile. So Q is asking a curious question. Scientifically, what is happening here? So Venerable Khema then explains, recently a lot more research has gone on in this area. Your old habit was an established neural pathway in your brain that you were using for a long time. And each time you said never mind and practice the 5 steps correctly, you were purifying mind and starting to build a neural pathway for a new behavior pattern. Okay, so there's this 2-minute video on how the brain works, neuroplasticity. If anyone's interested, I think if you just go to YouTube, maybe type neuroplasticity 2-minute video or something. Maybe it's longer than 2 minutes, but anyway, I use it a lot to share with my music students because I use it to explain to them how the brain actually works in terms of an old pathway and new pathway and how they can then use this technique to, if they have been practicing a certain way, which was actually a wrong way of practicing a certain musical passage, that they can use this technique to let go of that very quickly and then be able to develop a new. In case anyone's interested, feel free to reach out. I think it's barely 2.5 minutes, but it is, easy to understand. Even kids understand it. So it's easy. Okay. Okay, so let's repeat that again. Your old habit was an established neural pathway in your brain that you were using for a long time. And each time you say never mind and practice the 5 steps correctly, you are purifying mind and starting to build a neural pathway for a new behavior pattern. You are retraining mind each time you let go of its attention on the distraction. Relax your head and smile as you return to whatever you are doing. Smiling sends a message to the brain to lighten up. If you keep playing at this little game, it becomes quite easy to create a new neural pathway and let old pathways fade away from lack of use. Your new pathway might at first seem like only a tiny footpath, but in no time, if you keep repeating the steps correctly, your brain will adopt the footpath and make it a sturdy avenue for response. This is how change happens in the brain. Because of such change, your whole life begins operating more lightly and smoothly. You won't get stressed anymore when you consider a solution for what's happening. There is a lot more space in your mind to do this now. So this is quite interesting. It's not only just about reducing stress in our lives, it's also about creating more space. So think about, and the mind is a very powerful tool, and the brain, if we learn how to maximize its potential, it can be quite empowering. So think about the possibility of not only what if, by practicing this, not only can we manage stress better, but we also free up more space in our mind to be more creative or more productive or more helpful or more kind or more compassionate, whatever it is you choose to become, a new version of yourself. So think about it. Think about it that way. Say to yourself, I am going to forgive the interruption and see only what is real. I will deal with what is essentially here and not imagine anything else that is unessential repeating from the past. I'm going to keep smiling and stay in the present time. I can get through this by responding to whatever is needed step by step and continue to let go of any tension, relax, smile, and come back to work. That's it. That is the Nevermind Game. Simple as that, okay? Cultivating a protected mind does not mean that feeling will no longer arise. Feeling continues to arise, but now you will recognize it for what it is, as just a feeling that is here and will pass away and change. For example, when a painful feeling arises, you'll know that a painful feeling is here. It is not me, it is not mine, it is not myself. This is not who I am. When you begin to realize this, the feeling will not annoy you so much, and you will be able to let go of your attention on it and smile into it. You will be able to pay attention to something else, and the feeling will fade away without your personal attention. So actually, I just would like to offer just a little bit of my own personal observation as well, if I may. So here, Venerable Khema suggests to smile into it. I would also suggest the step of relaxing into it as well. So I remembered, if those of you who remember some of the talks that Bhante Vimala Ramsey used to give, whenever there's tension and tightness that really is so strong that it's difficult somehow to let go, sometimes it's also useful to relax into the pain. Okay, and I have personally tried it and continue to do it in my own healing process, and I find that even at the subtlest level of pain, it can be very, very helpful to train and retrain the mind to be able to eventually let go of that distraction. And of course, it is important to understand the difference between the bodily physical pain that arises due to, let's say, wrong posture or the wrong way of sitting. So that would be different. So that's not something that we're talking here. That is something that, we need to learn how to adjust. In this practice, we are not in the business of trying to torture ourselves. That is not the aim. So here, when we talk about pain or tension and tightness, really it arises from, let's say, some distractions due to it could be breaking the precepts, it could be all kinds of different things, really. And when it occurs, there is either the mind is either attracted to it or averse to it. And when that happens, the I like it, I don't like it mind. So when that happens, that is the craving that occurs, and the tension and tightness is what manifests out of that craving. So if we learn how to, never mind, let it go, that tension and tightness, never mind, let it go, relax, smile, come back to task. And if it is really difficult, the relax and smile really does make quite a bit of a difference. But always remember to have that coming back at the end, so not get stuck in the relax. And this is something that I remembered when Bhante Vimalaramsi used to say this, that a lot of students sometimes, because the pain or the tension or tightness is so strong, or the distraction is so strong, that we have the tendency to just stick to the relax. And in the beginning, when I started to practice 6R, I fell into that trap as well, especially when the pain is just humongous. Okay, so it's important to kind of train ourselves not to get stuck in that loop as well. Okay, coming back to here, note here that emotion happens after basic feeling. We have to develop emotions. They are personal and have names. For instance, anger is the name of an emotion that we personally create after a painful feeling comes up. When we do not like something, we take it personally and begin to think about it. By thinking about it, we feed it. Our personal attention is the nourishment it seeks. The emotion named anger can become a big problem for us and those around us if it goes unchecked. Mind can only be in one state at a time. So this is important to remember, because this is key in our practice of letting go any pain, discomfort, tension, tightness, distraction. So to let go of a painful feeling quickly, you can immediately laugh. Mind cannot hold both anger and laughter at the same time. So that's important to know. Okay, so I repeat, mind cannot hold both anger and laughter at the same time. When the painful feeling arises, remember that it's just a feeling. There's nothing personal in it. It can only turn into anger if you feed it your attention and start to think about it. So don't adopt anger. Let go. Laugh at it internally when you realize this and see how quickly the painful feeling dissipates. A protected mind sees with insightful clarity. So this is what really is meant by a protected mind. We are protecting our mind from the negative emotions. And by doing that, what happens is our mind gains more clarity, gains more insight, and that is the path towards gaining more wisdom. Experiencing the relief from suffering that such a mind brings to you is priceless. Okay, so the next one is note 4. But before I go to note 4, are there any questions? So let me just stop the share, just in case. Are there any questions or comments from anyone? I noticed a couple of people dialed in today. No, so far so good. Okay, I will keep going then. So let's go to note 4. Share my screen. Right, so note 4. Uncontrolled and controlled mind. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the uncontrolled mind. Indeed, an uncontrolled mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as the controlled mind. Indeed, a controlled mind conduces to great benefit. An uncontrolled mind does not have the knowledge of the Nevermind game that we've been discussing here. Without this knowledge, mind does not know what to do. It doesn't feel safe. So it jumps here and there into past memories to seek solutions. And it also worries incessantly about the future. So this is a very interesting sentence. So I'll repeat. Without this knowledge of the Nevermind game, mind does not know what to do. It doesn't feel safe. The mind doesn't feel safe. So it jumps here and there into past memories to seek solutions, and it also worries incessantly about the future. It gets involved in habitual attachment or aversion to whatever comes up. It struggles with the tension and tightness of mental proliferation and takes things way too personally. A controlled mind is different. When you practice right effort through a more impersonal perspective, you are able to remember to never mind, let go, relax, smile, and come back to the present time more easily. You won't get caught up in emotional dramas that arise. You will observe what is happening in a detached way, like a movie unfolding before your eyes. Eventually, this practice will automatically begin to operate, and you won't experience events out of proportion to their real significance like you once did. You will be leaving unessential reactions behind for good. Everything that the Buddha investigated concerns how mind operates. He looked at mind as the command center for the being, in this case, human being, yeah? So he was looking into how suffering deceives us, and he found an escape. Hence, his entire investigation was a quest to help humanity suffer less. As you become more sensitive by playing the Nevermind game, smiles come up more easily for you. And why not? Everything begins to get more comfortable in life if we don't take life so personally. We begin to enjoy life more in the present time with a full understanding of how everything works. We are more open to sharing our smile with others, and they begin to sense this possibility of freedom in themselves too. They are witnessing the truth that change is possible. Once you notice the symptom of tension in a negative arising thought, you'll remember the danger of getting caught up in it. You'll be able to escape and reduce your suffering through playing the Nevermind game. Learning the truly impersonal nature of everything frees the mind to direct its attention to the present time experience as we live life. Now, we won't get tired so easily, and we will have more energy to live a fuller life. So those of you remember, Venerable Kema sometimes would give the simile of every day. If you think about every day when we start the day, we have a cup. And what do we want to fill that cup with? Or, sorry, there was another analogy. If we have, sorry, let me rephrase that. So if we have, let's say the cup signifies the amount of energy that we have for that day, then how much of that energy are we going to spend on regretting the past or worrying about the future? Or how much of it are we going to just be in the present time? So the more we think about the past or future, we are spending our energy on that, then we don't have much energy left to just work on the present time. So the more we are able to tune our minds into playing this Nevermind game and moving more towards the present time, we don't get tired so easily. We find that we have more energy every day. Q asks a question: is there a summary for this sutta then? And Venerable Kema says, yes, Q, the sutta repeats the summary for its conclusion as follows. So again, here in the suttas that we see very often, the Buddha does a lot of repetition. So obviously the Buddha knows very well the workings of the mind and how to train the mind. And that is true repetition. Okay, so I will repeat here again. I do not see anything so completely harmful as the untamed, unguarded, unprotected, uncontrolled mind. Indeed, an untamed, unguarded, unprotected, uncontrolled mind conduces to great harm. I do not see anything so completely beneficial as the tamed, guarded, protected, and controlled mind. Indeed, a tamed, guarded, protected, and controlled mind conduces to great benefit. Because of this practice, you'll sleep peacefully at night and wake up with a sharp, clear mind in the morning. If someone shouts at you or talks rudely, you will listen attentively and realize that the person is not really yelling at you. Most of the time, they are reflecting upon themselves. You won't take it personally anymore because of the impersonal perspective you have discovered through your own investigation. Through compassionate wisdom, you'll see that maybe they are experiencing painful feelings and taking life too personally as a result of their own lack of knowledge. Not liking what is coming up in their mind, they are reacting by yelling internally at themselves, which is coming out in front of you as anger. Perhaps now you'll be able to forgive them more easily and say, never mind, to any swelling reactions arising in your mind. You might even decide to take a step further and offer to give them a hug or give them a listening ear to hear what is really going on with them. This will help them suffer a little less. You don't need to do this, but you might feel inspired to help someone else by this time. There will be more space within you to have compassion instead of reflecting back anger at the other person. You have just changed the whole game by taking a step towards peace. Now that you know you can change, you can let go of reactions and respond instead with forgiveness, compassion, and loving kindness all the time. Q asks, do people ask you why they should do this? That's a interesting question. Okay. So Venerable Kema says, sometimes. And then Q says, so what do you say? Venerable Kema then replies, well, usually by now I don't expect them to ask why they should help another person. I expect a different question. Why not? In truth, without clear understanding, there simply isn't any space in one's mind for change to happen. You first have to take the time to figure out how suffering operates. People suffer when they are taking things too personally and reacting to them. But this new knowledge, coupled with a calmer mind, helps you respond instead. And that is a significant change, isn't it? When we take some time to listen, we can discover what is really bothering someone. We can get right down to what's really going on for them. Perhaps they only need a smile, some patience, and a listening ear. It's worth a try, you never know. Maybe you can share the Nevermind game with them once you get it going. This is a personal management game to play in order to create some space in your mind so that you gain more clarity and start choosing more peaceful solutions in life. In this way, practicing this game is an act of generosity for yourself and others. So once you know the game, pass it forward and share it with others, okay? Q says, got it. Venerable Khema then adds, oh, by the way, if you think I didn't give you an object of meditation to keep with you at all times as your recentering point, I think you might have figured it out by now. First, you put a smile into your mind, in your heart, in your eyes, and on your lips. Then you keep forgiving whatever awkward things happen throughout your day and put loving kindness with a smile into whatever you are doing. Smile all the time. I don't care if you're driving, studying, walking, cooking, washing, at the office, or traveling country to country. Keep on smiling. It works miracles. Even with a COVID mask, people will see it in your eyes, okay? And that is quite true, actually. I realized that only recently. We all talk about wanting to change the world. Well, this is a first step if you want to take it. Changing the world begins with each of us. After all, the very world we want is inside of us already. We just have to take the first step to let this world reveal itself to us. The Nevermind game is all about this change. After you start having some fun with it, you will realize that when you protect yourself from suffering, you are protecting others too. Therefore, this game helps others learn that change is really possible. So, just share your smiles. That's your first step. Then keep it going. So remember to share your smiles, everyone. All right, so chapter 10 really is just a brief summary of how to score the Nevermind game. So Venerable Khema draft out a scoreboard, okay? So very simple instructions. On a 3x5 or 4x6 card, so it could be, here I presume a 3" by 5" or 4" by 6" card. Up to you, it's just a recommendation here in terms of the size. So you create a table with 5 columns as shown below. So if you look here, there is column A, B, C, D, E. Oh, and then there's week and then there's total personal score as well. Okay. You should be able to fold the card in half and keep it in your pocket or bag. At the end of each day, write down your score. Check your total score at the end of each week to track your own progress. So this is like a scorecard for you to track to see how you're doing. And here's a look at what each column means. So column A is number of times my attention completely moved away from my task, and I remember to do the 5 steps of the Nevermind game completely. Okay, which is great. Column B is number of times I could observe my attention as it was moving away, and I remember to play the Nevermind game before it was completely pulled away. So column A is we only notice after our attention is completely moved away, and then practice Nevermind game. Column B is when we could actually observe, so our mindfulness is a little bit sharper, and we could observe that, ooh, my attention is going away, and then we play the Nevermind game. Column C is the number of times the Nevermind game happened automatically. Column D, number of times I remember to smile as I said nevermind to myself. And column E is the number of times I gave a smile to someone else who needed it during the day. So here is where the scorecard looks. Okay. And at the end of the week, you can sum it all up to see how you're doing. Even if you remember to say never mind only one time a day, you will still make progress if you keep playing this game. The fact is, life is short. It can be sweet or bitter depending on how you want it to be. We can create a heaven or hell on earth each day. It's up to us. Smiles can be contagious and they have a special energetic vibration. So what do you say? Let's start a pandemic of smiles. Let's think never mind and smile like it rhymes. Do it all the time for a few days. See it as a new beginning. After that, who knows? Maybe you will feel like giving a helping hand to others who are in a similar situation. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the whole book. Here at the end of the book is a list of other resources, other books. In case you're interested, a summary of Sasana Dipika Venerable Khanti Khemaji for those interested. All right. And here at the end, Appendix 1 is the 7-link chart for understanding dependent origination. So here is a more thorough diagram or table or chart, okay, based on what was discussed in one of the earlier chapters. And here, again, the negative emotion of anger is used as an example. Okay, so you can see there, and there's even some empty pages for you to make notes. And here you can also print this out. Those of you who have the PDF copy, you can print out page 119, which has the scorecard, the weekly scorecard, and you can use that for your own practice to see how you progress. Oh, just these are just empty pages. I think that's the end of the book. Oh, just something for donations. That's it. Okay. All right, so let me stop sharing the screen here. So I hope that was useful reading for everyone who attended today. Any questions, comments, anything you'd like to share, even if it's not related to the Nevermind game, but related to the practice, right effort, leading to right striving? Yes? Anybody wants to give any comments or ask any questions? No? Everyone is happy? Everyone is practicing Nevermind game happily, I hope, and having a lot of fun with it. The most important thing is to have fun with it. That's the most important, because if we don't learn how to have fun with the practice, what's happening then is really we'll start to see going well. The practice actually is not going to be smooth because when we're not having fun, actually, the tendency to have taking things personal, the tendency to have things the tendency to want to take things personal whenever they arise, be it distractions, whatever, that tendency comes about. There's more likely that that tendency of taking things personal come up. So when we're having fun, then that tendency at least is reduced. So that's why the having fun aspect of the practice is also super important. And also it's related to the smiling as well. Okay, so if nobody has any questions, if everybody is happy, let us end this session by sharing the merits. Okay. So please be invited to share the merits together. Also, for those interested, next week, 10th of March, we will have Bhante Dhammagavesi come to this session to give us a sutta reading or talk. Okay, so I will share the sharing of merits page, and then we can recite together. Right. Hey, sharing merit. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so that marks the end of today's session. So I will just stop the recording here.